Imagine you travel back in time and give a young, struggling William Shakespeare, who hasn't published anything yet, a copy of his own plays. He publishes them, and history continues unchanged. But here's the question: who actually wrote the plays? Shakespeare didn't come up with them because he got them from you, and you didn't write them either because you got them from Shakespeare. This is the mind-bending thought experiment known as the Bootstrap Paradox, a time loop where an object, idea, or even a person exists without ever being created. It's a paradox that has fascinated physicists and storytellers alike, but no show has ever tackled it as masterfully as Dark, Netflix's acclaimed sci-fi series. The Bootstrap Paradox is a causal loop in time travel, where an object or piece of information exists without an identifiable point of origin. It's named after the phrase pulling yourself up by your own bootstraps, which describes something impossible, just like an object or event appearing from nothing. A classic example is the Shakespeare example we just discussed, a person who goes back in time and gives Shakespeare a copy of his own works, then publishes them, and history records him as the playwright. But where did the plays actually come from? They were never truly created, they exist in an endless cycle with no original source. Stephen Hawking discussed this kind of paradox in relation to time travel and information loops. Some physicists argue that a bootstrap paradox doesn't necessarily violate the laws of physics, but rather suggests that information can be its own cause. However, it defies our intuition about how reality should work, where every effect has a clear cause. The bootstrap paradox is a popular concept in sci-fi, and we've seen it played out into some famous stories, like in Doctor Who, Interstellar, and Predestination. But no movie or show has ever built an entire narrative around the bootstrap paradox the way Dark does. Netflix's Dark isn't just a show about time travel, it's a show about time trapping itself in loops, with the bootstrap paradox at the very core of its story. Everything that happens in Dark is part of a self-sustaining cycle. Characters, events, and even objects have no clear point of origin. They simply exist because time demands they do. One of the best examples is the time machine itself. The blueprints for the device are passed through time by the characters who receive them from the future. The paradox? There's no original inventor. It's just an infinite cycle of the machine being handed down through time. This means the device was never actually created, it has always existed within the loop. Then we have H.G. Tannhaus, the watchmaker, who believes he invented the machine to bring back his dead family. But his knowledge comes from others who already knew about time travel, making his discovery yet another example of a causal loop. It's a perfect execution of the bootstrap paradox. And it doesn't just stop at objects. Dark goes a step further by applying the bootstrap paradox to people. Several characters are born because of time loops, meaning they have no true origin. Jonas becomes the stranger then becomes Adam, but Adam ensures that Jonas follows his predetermined path. His existence is an infinite cycle, no beginning, no end. But perhaps the most mind-bending example is Charlotte Doppler, a character who is both the daughter and mother of her own parent. This paradox is a perfect demonstration of causality breaking down, proving that in Dark, time is not a straight line, it's a knot. Most time travel stories introduce paradoxes, but they often fix them with alternate timelines, multiverses, or last-minute loopholes. Dark, on the other hand, embraces the paradox. It refuses to offer a clean solution because in its world, time is deterministic. There's no escaping the loop, only accepting it. This makes Dark one of the most logically consistent time travel stories ever told. Instead of bending its own rules for plot convenience, it builds a cohesive, terrifyingly intricate narrative where every moment, every action, every person is trapped in an inescapable cycle. This is why Dark stands above other time travel stories. It doesn't just use the bootstrap paradox as a gimmick, it lives and breathes it.
You look lonely. I can fix that.